Alright, I think we're live. So, what happened last time? Left for later. I see. So we reset. I guess I was using the graphical tool to start splitting out the easy first sections. So what did that commit do? There's an introduction, syntax note, there's a built-in constants section, and after that I think we wanted to leave the numeric type coercion for later. That's the standard types. And then come the atoms, where we wanted to remove a comma from start expression. There was private name mangling. Probably also better left for later. Now for literals, this moves the formally section to the end, which probably makes sense. And then there's parenthesized forms, which we probably want to leave alone right now. So we're left with syntax note, the built-in constants, and a touch-up for strings. Is that enough for a pull request?
I mean, I think pull requests, small is less is more with pull requests.
Yeah, but we do have 2 open already.
Oh. Well,
might be better to focus the reviewers on that.
Okay. Is Adam around? Can we get him to jump in? Because that seemed to be useful the last time.
Might be not.
I can poke around and chase him.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, he knows about this.
That's true. That's true.
If he's not around, I mean, he can get to it in his own time. I'm having some trouble with my notes here. Sorry.
I'm about to switch clients.
There we go. That should.
Could you say something again?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
You're very quiet.
I see. I'm very quiet. All right.
Or maybe it's on my side. Well, you sounded quieter than before, but maybe it's on my side.
Oh, that's yeah, that could be. I'm using a different microphone, but let's see. I've done something funny here.
I should get the levels about the same in the recording. And yeah, you're much more quiet than I am.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Let me boost my volume then. Hopefully that'll be fine.
All right. I can also be more deliberate in my elocution.
Alright, you do that, whatever that means.
Does this sound better, or is it still like a notable difference?
It does sound better, but I don't know if that's my settings or your side. It should be fine now. Right, what do we do next here? So the goal is to get closer to the grammar, right? And I think with expressions that'll be a challenge. We might want to attack it from the bottom of the page. Let me at least see the table of contents. So we have atoms, which then gets to literals and parenthesized forms, which are pretty tangled up, I think. What does the next section look like? There's primaries. These represent the most tightly bound operations of the language. So we have atom, attribute, ref, subscription, slicing, and call. So this one should be a bit easier, hopefully. Do we have something called a primary in the actual grammar? Yep. So there's primary here. What does that do? Let me maybe look at the full grammar reference. Expressions and then full grammar specification. So primary dot name, primary generator expression, primary optional arguments, and primary slices. So this looks pretty usable. So if we do what is it, grammar snippet, instead, so here we have atom, that checks out, attribute reference, which is primary dot identifier, and identifier, I think in lexical maybe, Yeah, identifier is a name except keywords. So this identifier is probably better than this name. So I can replace this primary.name by attribute ref. That's just introducing a new name. Doesn't really match the grammar, but that should be fine. Then there is primary and then generator expression, which I think is part of this call, along with primary and then parentheses. And there's also slicing, which should be this. Let's see, subscriptions. Primary, square brackets, and flexible expression list, which hopefully is the same thing as slices. So the slicing, wait, no. Subscription or slicing is separate. So what is slices in the actual grammar? It's either a slice or a comma separated slice or start expression. Here's where the complexity comes in. Right, so let's see. Flexible expression list. What is a flexible expression list anyway? Oh, that's a comma separated list of expressions with an optional comma at the end. Okay. Slicing. All right, let's try unpacking this. This is slices. Slices can be slices is a comma separated list of either slice or start expression. Now this first thing here is just an optimization. And slice can be a colon separated expression repeated 3 times, or it can be a named expression. What is a named expression? That's either an assignment expression or an expression. So if it's a named expression, there can be it can have the assignment operator. If it's just an expression, I guess it can't. Okay, how does that correspond?
So the word subscription doesn't seem to appear anymore. Is that okay?
Yeah, because well, attribute ref doesn't appear either.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right, so we could do we could say this is subscription. That would mean the same thing, unless subscription appears in the grammar as something else, which it doesn't. So yeah, we can just give it a name like this. Maybe we can even change the grammar itself to do this. without any ill effects. Let me do two things here. Next week is the Python core developer sprint in Cambridge. So I want to talk to Lysandros or Pablo about renaming things in the grammar. So that is already on my to-do list. But let me try doing this. If I say that subscription which probably has the same type as primary, means this, and then I replace this by subscription, and then I regen, what can I regen? What is that called? Grammar? pgen? I look at the diff. Wow, yeah, everything changed. Right, so this doesn't get optimized away. But hopefully it does the same thing, and hopefully it's not slower. Let's see, let's try doing this side by side.
Oh, so you mean if it's slower, then it would slow down everything?
Yeah, if it's slower, then people will complain.
Nice.
Is this? Oh, I have different git diff settings. So if I put it side by side, there's a different print. That's a debug print, I guess, from this D. There's a recursion check for the subscription rule. And I see it's left recursive as well, which probably isn't a good thing for efficiency. It does some bookkeeping. And then this is the part that's the same as before. Okay, so the new stuff is this part. There's a recursion limit check. There's a check for an error indicator. Oh, that's here as well, but it's repeated. It's repeated apparently. Don't know exactly what this does. Probably sets up a mark that the primary has it has shared for all the alternatives. have subscription here instead of primary. So I guess the changes are around bookkeeping and some debug statements. Shouldn't be that slower, but it is probably a bit slower. So I'll ask. That was a nice experiment. So another thing this could we could do is maybe add some metadata to this. I don't know how that's done, but then there's a meta grammar that might right, there's a memo flag. Right, so after the return type annotation in a rule name, there can be a flag, something in parentheses. So maybe we could add something like inline this, and then the parser would take this and put it put it in here, and this this would be documentation only. So we can say doc only or something like that, and that would make it exactly the same performance, but better looking in the docs. But since we're not generating the docs from the grammar yet, we can just do exactly that here.
Okay.
And so the bigger problem here is that subscription includes the slicing. Right, so if we look into slices, it will be here. So that can be either slice or start expression. Oh. The docs might be wrong. What do the docs say? They say this can be either subscription, which is primary, and this is the expression separated by a comma, or it can be the slice list, which has a slice item comma separated slice item, and a slice item can be an expression. Right, so the subscription is redundant. Right, if this flexible expression list is a comma separated list of expressions with an optional comma at the end, we get the same thing here, right? Primary, square brackets, and then slice list is a comma separated list of slice items with a comma at the end optionally, and the slice item can be an expression. So subscription is just a special case of slicing. And that is something we'll need to change in the documentation somehow.
Sorry, where will we need to change it?
Well, we need to get rid of this subscription rule, because that doesn't appear in the grammar at all, and it doesn't have to.
Okay.
Oh, and this says there is ambiguity in the formal syntax here. Anything that looks like an expression list also looks like a slice list. So any subscription can be interpreted as slicing. Rather than further complicating the syntax, this is disambiguated by defining that in the case, if it's ambiguous, subscription takes priority over slicing. Which is basically bogus in Python 3. In Python 3, this is disambiguated by this being exactly the same operation. Which means we need to rewrite subscriptions. We basically need to combine these two chapters, subscriptions and slicing, and we need to come up with entirely new wording for it. So we say this is subscription or slicing. Right. Then what do the subscriptions say? Subscription of an instance of a container class will generally select an element from the container. The subscription of a generic class will generally return a generic alias object. Right. Okay. Primary must evaluate to an object that supports subscription, obviously. Can support subscription through defining getItem and class getItem. When the primary is subscripted, the evaluated result will be passed to one of those methods. Huh. Now this is new and I didn't pay much attention when it was added. So if the object being subscribed as class getItem will be called instead of just getItem. Okay, this is complicated and it's probably better to leave the full explanation inside this link. And then this says if the expression list contains at least one comma, or if any of the expressions start, the expression list will evaluate to a tuple containing the items. I think the slices should be handled by a paragraph like this. 311 expressions maybe start, and then there's no changed directive for class getItem, which was added when. Seven. Wow, that's pretty long ago.
Yeah.
For built-in objects, there are two types of object that support subscription via getItem. There's mappings and sequences. Yeah, and there's classes which use class getItem. I think they should be on this list. They shouldn't be excluded by this note. The formal syntax makes no special provision for negative indices. Blah blah blah. this is what negative index support is also optional. Optionally, objects might support slices and negative indices. I kind of want to move the longer explanations to here, or maybe to the data model. Do we have something? Oh, this is the data model. Does this have a class get item? Yes, there's the whole section on it. Right.
Would it be under mapping section? Whatever that was. Set.
This is subscript notation. Select the item index by K. Which is short and sweet.
Oh.
And there's
no
sequences.
Oh, oh, there. Okay, I see. I didn't.
Right. So there's negative indices and slicing. Some sequences support extended slicing with a third step parameter. So this is probably the best place to discuss how the built-in objects work. Then this is probably the good place to link to that, saying that slice objects and negative index support is optional. Or maybe for sequence type, the accepted keys should be integers. And optionally slices. What's this section here? The section is emulating container types. Right, so you're reading this if you want to implement a custom list-like or dict-like object. Right, negative index support is optional. And then there should be a link to what negative indices do. And then you look index error, then you raise index error or key error. Right, so index error and key error are subclasses of lookup error, if I remember correctly. So we might want to generalize that, like if the operation, like if the key is of an inappropriate type, then raise type error, otherwise raise lookup error, and then for sequences and mapping use more appropriate types. for loops, except that an indexer will be raised for illegal indexes. It's not just for loops, it's iteration in general. When subscripting a class, the special class method class get item will, yeah, that's a good note. Okay, all right. I'm getting a better idea of how to structure this. And what I will do is make a new branch for it. So expressions first, easy sections. Let's leave that for later. And I want a new branch called expressions subscription, made from the main branch. And hopefully this will be a nice self-contained but meaty change. Alright, let me read on slicings now. Slicing selects a range of items that can be reused. Now we have the full syntax here, the ambiguity is bogus, and the semantics should be moved elsewhere. Alright. Right, subscriptions and slicing then. What's the capitalization here? New style. Everything lowercase except the first letter. All right. Right, so this is the subscription. Right. The index is a slice object. Oh, that was class, right? I always forget. We can be a bit more wordy here. Scripting a mapping like select a value id subscripting a sequence. We'll select an item using an index. That subscription of a generic class will generally return a generic item. And I guess what we want to do is give examples whenever we can, right? So we can do mapping is, what's a good example of a dictionary? We should translate something, right? Oh no, we can just use numbers. So 1 is named 1, and 2 is named 2. Mapping of 2 will give you 2, right? And I probably don't want a number here to make it more obvious that this doesn't need to be a number. So this is digits by name, where 1 corresponds to 1 and 2 will corresponds to 2. And if you select 2, you get this number. Here as well, except I don't really know how that works. So list is a generic type, right? And a list of ints or a list of strings gives you a generic alias. when an object is subscripted, the interpreter will evaluate the primary and the expression list, except we didn't define the primary and the expression list yet. Should we do that now? Excuse me?
Don't we do it right below? It says primary flexible expression.
Yeah, I'm leaving the original version below.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
I probably so in the lexical analysis we always gave the formal grammar at the very end, which I think is a good idea, but it needs rewording the whole section each time. But I think we've introduced primaries in this chapter already. Yeah, this chapter is primaries, and primaries can be either atom or something that starts with a primary. Primary. Generally, it's not a list. As one or more comma separated. Expressions, except it's not expressions, right? It's slices. And where do we define expression? Huh? Expression in conditional expressions. I think we're right, it's not expression, right? It's start expression. Why doesn't this just say slice or named expression or start expression and leave slice to be the colon separated stuff. Or why isn't start expression part of slice? I don't get it. Alright, we could do this. Make things simpler. So it would probably make the parser slower or something like that. I need to ask how to evaluate changes like this. Like, is it okay to change stuff? But let me call this just slices. Which means I can say that. Wait, I need to say subscription. I'll delete slicing from here for now, and now I'll say not use production list. I'll use yeah. What do we use? Grammar snippet. Here it is. So we can say that subscription is primary slices. Right, that comes directly from the grammar. I've just added a name for it. Let's say the key or index are often an expression I can link expression called if expr. And that should really define slices. So slices. let's make this docs worthy. So remove all the parts that we don't need, most of them at least. Too much. Oh. And I'll just put start expression right here. Because this is equivalent to that. Well, this is a special case of that. So I'll say slices are this. Comma separated list of slices. I can even say it's a comma separated list of slices right here. And this uses double quotation marks, while here we use single ones. We probably want to use what the actual grammar uses if we want to make them more compatible. So now what is named expression? I don't think and what is start expression? Does the existing documentation define that? No. So we need to find out what start expression and named expression are and plug them in the right place. So start expression. Start expression is a star followed by an expression. Fun, okay. That was underwhelming. Right, so I will look what was here before. No, it's not flexible expression list. Flexible expression list. Can have start expression. Oh, we have start expression already.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, but it's RRE and start R.
Ah. Is it the same thing then?
I sure hope so. I think so.
Start expression.
I guess we can look. Start expression.
Oh, here it is. So it can be an a star or an expression, right? So the start expression includes expression, and it has this or exper. Or exper doesn't include comparisons.
Really? But
what?
Huh.
So where we were in here, right? Yeah, that's syntactically correct. Was it okay in Python 2? Yeah, you could do that. Let's backtrack a bit. So flexible expression list has flexible expressions which are, oh, they're either assignment expressions, where you can assign something to the expression, or start expression, which are either start or expr. Oh, the star is here, that's important. So it's either start or the expression appears here as well. So if there's an expression as part of flexible expression, it can match either this or that. It doesn't really matter for documentation. But here, start expression can be any old expression. Even a lambda definition. Can you really have that after a star? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine syntactically. Was it fine in Python 2? Oh, you couldn't have that in Python 2, of course. The stars were added in 3.7, right? Or 11? I'm not sure. Yeah, 3.11. Said that somewhere here. Any item might be start 3.11. Right. Yeah. Somebody updated the grammar but didn't really update the grammar in the documentation. So okay, we use start expression then. It should be fine for now. Now what about this named expression? Named expression in the actual grammar, let's look at the abridged grammar. Named expression can be either an assignment expression or an expression. An assignment expression has this name colon equals in front of it. So let's find an equivalent here. It should be in the flexible expression, and that's assignment expression, right? So assignment expression in the docs is equivalent to named expression in the actual grammar. It can be either the assignment one or the one without the assignment. So instead of named expression, we do assignment expression, which is a bit confusing. I don't know if named expression is a better term, but assignment expression can but doesn't have to include the actual assignment. So this should be the formal grammar.
So assignment expression in the doc called a named expression.
Yes.
Grammar. Okay, got it.
And we'll probably need to keep a list of those before we go through all of the grammar. Primary must evaluate an object that's a subscription. An object may support subscription through defining one or both of this or that. Where the primary is subscripted, like this is exactly what we say here. So we're already explaining what happens when an object is subscripted. The evaluated result of the slices will be passed to one of those methods. For more details on when class getItem is called instead of getItem, see class getItem versus getItem. That's good. Okay. We have the grammar already. If we use slices as a term, we should probably use it as a term here as well. This is hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
And maybe that's the reason slices has two variants in the actual grammar. Right? From the grammar point of view, one is a special case of the other. But from the semantic point of view, if there's just one slice without a comma, yeah, that's probably a better way to explain it. If slices contains only one slice without a trailing comma, evaluate it to the value. That's nice. Otherwise, oh, but it can't be starred. Ah. Ah, I get it. I get it now. I get why the grammar is like this. This is the tuple variant, and this is the non-tuple variant. Clever.
Oh.
Right, so that's why start expression needs to be in here and not in here. Slices contains only one, and start without a comma will evaluate to the value of that slice. Otherwise, slices will evaluate to a tuple containing the items of the slices.
Oh, that does seem simpler. Sure.
And we can maybe make it even more obvious.
Is there a thing called tuple slices? I see.
There is now.
Okay. There is now.
This is formal notation. We can invent names. Should this have a name? So the rest of this section talks about what happens with mappings and sequences and negative indices. And strings. So this all should be moved to the data model. Was it here?
Huh.
Yes, object get item in the data model. Why can I not find it?
Get item.
Ah, here it is. Bookmark it in the editor. Right, so we need to reword this. So all of this junk goes in here. Use git conflict markers to markup would I need resolved? And then this gets here. Shared, and then here you can say something for details on how, or maybe see get item documentation for how built-in types handle subscription. Including for negative indices. Right, there's one more thing we need to put in here, and that's slicings. So this is slicing selects a range of items. And slicings may be used as targets in an assignment or a del statement. Huh, how is a del statement defined? Del targets. There's a special thing called deletion targets, and deletion targets can take slices. That's good. So deletion targets are basically a subset of primaries. It's the same thing as, it's almost the same thing as something between a primary and an atom, I guess. Except you cannot delete a function call and things like that. Right, and this has a special syntax for a slicing where there's something called a proper slice, which I like quite a lot. So that's this. The slice can be a proper slice or an assignment expression. And now the slicing, slice list, and slice item we covered before. And we just need grammar for this somehow. else do we need to take from slicing? This index stuff. Slicing selects a range of items, so that needs to go in the data model as well. No expressions. There is ambiguity. There is no ambiguity in the actual grammar. And the semantic of slicing should be in the data model as well, or most of it. Yeah, this repeats some of what we have up there. Okay, I need to stick to the plan here. There's too much information, so the plan of how to present this was go from the start with the easy examples, which we have. Maybe the slicing is not an easy example, so it should go later, right?
Okay.
Maybe we should say at the syntax level, all of these operations are equivalent. When an object is subscripted, the interpreter will evaluate the object being subscripted. Or let's say the object being subscripted must be a primary. When it is subscripted, the interpreter will evaluate the primary and the should I say expressions? I'm gonna say slice. You can see, and say slices. Of the square brackets. Does that make sense? Do these contain expressions?
Yeah.
Right. In simplest form, let's not introduce slices just yet. The square brackets contain a single expression. No, or when the value of is passed. We basically need this primary must evaluate an object that supports subscription. Can we combine this through defining maybe the repetition is good here. There are no other ways to support subscription than these two for now. So the evaluated result will be passed. Let's right, so this explains what happens if you only have a single expression in the square brackets. And I think that's pretty good for now. And now we can go on to the more complex cases, which is slicing. The square brackets can also contain up to 3 expressions separated by colons.
Okay.
Right. This form of subscription is called slicing. Should we put in all forms of slicing, like all the examples of slicing? Probably. Now let me get these right. example is right. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should also probably do the step and a full slice and a step. So let's do something without omitted numbers for the first example. Let's do the example here. This form of subscription is called slicing. here we need to construct a slice object whose 3 attributes listed here, start, stop, and step, results of the expressions and be missing how do you reference none? Const. Makes sense. Hope it revalues to none.
Limit 3.
Because slice has 3 attributes, start, stop, and step. What would you do with the 4th one?
Of course. Okay.
Right, so we have slicing with examples. And the last form of slicing is this tuple slices. So how do we do that? So there are 2 complications to explain here. One is the start expressions, and one is the tuple slicing. Which one should be explained first? I guess the tuple slicing.
Tuple slicing, yeah.
How do we explain that? Is there any built-in object that takes tuple slices? I guess dictionaries with tuple keys, right? But is there anything
Zip?
anything easier? Or classes, right? I can. Oh, this is a list of 1, 2, 3. And this is a list of slice. Should we Should we use this hack in the documentation? To explain what happens?
None. Oh, because it's type.
Yes, it just gives you whatever you sliced it with. But usually you would put a type in here, and then these are types.
Type it, then. Oh, so maybe like a character, like a ASCII or something like that, like a chunk of Unicode.
I mean, we could make a class.
Colors, range. Emoji. You want to do like.
Until I grew up on Python 2. I mean, this... I don't know if I want to use something like this in the documentation. It's a good way to... It's a good thing to play around with, to... to see what happens when you subscribe, when you do subscriptions. But I wonder if it's too much code just to show this. Maybe let's put it in now. We're running out of time anyway, so.
Oh yeah, I have a hard stop.
want to use that. Right. Okay.
Line 1030. Above where you are. You want to say 230.
Oh, yeah, thanks. We need a common term for expressions or slices.
Oh no, that's
I like to put a space after the only comma of a single element tuple or list.
oh okay.
But Pepe specifically says you should not put a comma, put a space there.
Oh.
Something I always fight with when writing official Python code. Because I think if you put in a comma, it's much more obvious that there is a space
Yes.
there, something is off.
Yeah.
Oh well. I'll not argue with Guido about that. Alright, that's... Well, it took a lot of setup, but this is not that bad. So that leaves us with the last thing here, and that's the start expression. Let's say start expression. Alright, and what's missing then is you can have multiple start expressions combine with these commas, but we're out of time. So
Yeah,
I'll commit.
I'm gonna jump off to another call.
Alright, see you in 2 weeks. Next week we need to skip